Imagine this. You stand before a woman whose presence alone could command a kingdom. She's radiant, poised, and accustomed to men sculpting themselves into whatever shape they think will please her. But with you, it's different. She searches your eyes as if trying to decipher an ancient riddle, drawn not by what she understands, but by the enigma you represent. What if I told you that, no matter how unshakable she appears, there are unseen threads that weave through her very essence? Subtle, powerful weaknesses that, when understood, place you beyond the reach of the ordinary man, not through deception, not through force, but through mastery of something few ever recognize, the deep, subconscious forces that shape attraction itself. This isn't a game. This is the lost wisdom of the ancients, the art of those who command presence without speaking, who shape reality without lifting a hand. Most men remain blind, believing that attraction is built on grand gestures, wealth, or mere physicality. But true influence moves on deeper currents, whispering just beneath the surface of perception. A woman does not fall for a man's appearance. She falls for the experience he creates, the emotional reality he pulls her into. This is why tales of forbidden love, of dangerous men who dance with the unknown, have always captured the female soul. It's not rebellion she craves, but release from the mundane, from the predictable, from the suffocating weight of expectation. And yet, most men are predictable. They text at the same time, say the same things, follow the same rhythms. They are safe, comfortable, but never intoxicating. A woman may appreciate safety, but she worships the man who stirs something deeper. A man who, with a glance, can make her feel as if she is stepping into a world, not bound by the ordinary rules of existence. This is where mastery begins. The key is contrast. Predictability is death. Mystery is life. You must be the storm and the shelter, the fire and the calm. Never always available, never easily defined. When a woman is left wondering, questioning, when you become a story in her mind rather than just another chapter, she is no longer just attracted. She is ensnared. And once you hold her attention in the palm of your hand, another truth reveals itself, one that most women will never admit. They do not chase men who bend for them. They chase the ones who remain unbent. A man without boundaries is a man without worth. Society teaches men that the way to a woman's heart is through agreement, through appeasement. But watch closely, and you will see, who does she pursue? It is never the man who makes himself her shadow. It is the one who stands firm, who moves through life on his own terms, indifferent to whether she follows. A woman will test you, whether she realizes it or not. She will push, prod, challenge, because deep down, she needs to know, do you stand for something? Or will you collapse under the weight of her whims? The moment you hold your ground, the moment she realizes she cannot move you like the others, something shifts. Respect. And from respect, desire is born. A man who is respected is a man who is wanted, not because he withholds affection, but because his presence is rare. But even this is not enough, because attraction, like fire, must be fed, and there is one force that keeps it burning hotter than all others. Uncertainty. Think of the stories that consume you, the ones that stay with you long after the final page. It is not the ones where everything is laid bare from the beginning. It is the ones that leave gaps, that draw you deeper, that make you wonder. Women do not fall for men they fully understand. They fall for the ones they are still trying to figure out. The moment she believes she has you completely, the chase ends. But when you remain just beyond her reach, when she cannot quite define what she feels for you, cannot predict what you will do next, you become something far more than a man. You become a force. This is why the men women obsess over are never the ones who lay all their cards on the table. They are the ones who reveal just enough to stir emotion, but never enough to be caged. The ones who respond when they choose to, who share their world in pieces, never in full. Some will say this is manipulation, but they misunderstand. This is not about deception. It is about keeping the pulse of desire alive. When you remove the unknown, you remove the mystery. And when the mystery dies, so does the fire. And so we arrive at the next truth, the foundation upon which all attraction is built, the power of leadership. Because the deepest pull a woman feels is not to a man who follows, but to a man who leads. A woman may say she desires a man who lets her decide, but reality speaks a different language. Watch closely, and you will see. Who does she follow? Who does she admire? It is the man who moves with certainty, who carves his path without waiting for permission. It is the man who says, "We are going here," rather than asking, "Where do you want to go?" Strength is not in words, but in presence, in the ability to walk forward without hesitation, to set the course without seeking approval. This does not mean domination, nor does it mean disregard for her will. It means possessing a vision so strong that she cannot help but be drawn into it. And it is here, in this understanding, that we uncover the greatest truth of all, the paradox that few men ever grasp. Women do not wish to be the center of your world. They wish to be invited into a world already in motion. The moment a man orbits a woman's existence, making her the sole focus of his life, he ceases to be someone she can admire. A woman is drawn not to a man who needs her, but to one who is whole without her. She does not wish to be the purpose. She wishes to be swept into a purpose greater than herself. So the question remains, who are you when no one is watching? When there is no audience, no woman to impress, no eyes upon you, do you still stand with the same conviction? Because that, more than any secret, more than any technique, is what separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. And when a woman senses that she is stepping into the orbit of a man who moves through the world with unshaken certainty, who does not chase, but draws others into his gravity, she does not walk away. And yet in the shadows of this understanding lies an even greater truth, one that separates the few who command desire from the many who chase it in vain. A woman does not fall for a man simply because he is strong, mysterious, or decisive. She falls for the man whose presence ignites something within her that she cannot create on her own. This is why she is drawn to the man who is not readily available, the man whose mind is occupied with greater things than mere pursuit. She longs for a force greater than herself to be swept into. And this is where most men fail, not because they lack confidence, not because they lack charm, but because they misplace their focus. They make her the mission, and in doing so, they lose themselves. A man's true power lies not in seeking, but in becoming. A woman does not wish to be the foundation of a man's world. She wishes to step into a world already in motion. The moment she senses that she is the axis upon which your existence turns, she begins to withdraw, not out of cruelty, but because the weight of being your sole purpose is too great to bear. So the secret is simple, yet so often overlooked. Your life must be complete before she enters it. You must be a force moving forward, with or without her. Your purpose must be carved into the fabric of your being, unshaken by her presence or her absence. It is not the man who waits for her call that she desires. It is the man whose time is valuable, whose attention must be earned. Consider this. Why do women obsess over men who seem untouchable? The musicians, the visionaries, the men of power. It is not because of their fame or wealth alone. It is because these men have something greater than romance. They have purpose. A man consumed by his mission radiates an energy that cannot be faked. He moves with direction, and in doing so, he becomes irresistible. Because attraction is not just about desire, it is about admiration, and admiration is only given to those who do not seek it. But even this is not enough, because admiration alone does not keep the fire burning. There is another weakness buried deep within the female psyche, one that even she may not fully understand. It is the silent craving for something beyond stability, beyond comfort. It is the hunger for chaos in controlled doses. Women, despite everything they claim to seek, do not desire a life of unbroken calm. They may say they want a man who provides peace, but watch their actions. Who do they chase? It is never the man who is predictable, the man who is always steady, always the same. It is the man who stirs the storm within her, the man who offers moments of intensity, of unpredictability, of challenge. This is why the lover is always more intoxicating than the provider, because one gives her security, but the other gives her life. The most dangerous mistake a man can make is to believe that once he has won her, the chase is over. That once he has her love, he no longer needs to create the spark that drew her in the first place. But attraction is not static. It must be fed, nurtured, stoked like a fire that will die if left unattended. You must not only be the man she desires, you must continue to become the man she cannot resist. This does not mean instability. It does not mean playing games or toying with emotions. It means remaining unpredictable in a world that demands routine. It means continuing to challenge her mind, to introduce her to new experiences, to remind her, time and time again, that you are not like the others. The moment she knows exactly what to expect, she begins to drift. But when she wakes each day uncertain of what you might say, what adventure you might lead her into, what thought you might provoke, she stays, because she is not just with you. She is captivated by you. And that is the difference between a man who holds her attention for a season and a man who becomes unforgettable. And now, we arrive at the final secret, the one that ties all of these truths together. A woman does not want to be the most important thing in your life. She wants to be part of something that is. The moment she senses that your mission, your drive, your fire has dimmed because of her, she begins to pull away, not because she does not love you, but because she cannot respect a man who has lost himself in her. This is the paradox that eludes most men. They believe that to keep a woman, they must give her everything, make her the center of their world. But this is not what she truly desires. She desires to be drawn into a man's world, not to become it. And so, the ultimate mastery of attraction is not found in tactics, nor in words, nor in any shallow strategy. It is found in the art of being a man so wholly consumed by his purpose that his presence alone commands attention. Because in the end, a woman does not fall in love with a man who needs her. She falls for the man she fears losing, the man who moves forward with or without her, the man who does not chase because he is the one being followed. And so we return to the question that separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. Who are you when no one is watching? Because this is where the truth is revealed. Not in the fleeting moments of charm, not in carefully crafted words, but in the quiet certainty of a man who walks a path that no one else can define for him. A woman is not drawn to the man who asks for her validation. She is drawn to the man who does not need it, the man who, even in her absence, remains steadfast in his vision. She may test you, challenge you, even push you away just to see if you will crumble. But the moment she realizes that nothing, not her words, not her affection, not even the thought of losing her, can break your foundation, she stops resisting. Because deep down, every woman desires a man who cannot be swayed by her whims, a man who exists beyond her influence, a man who, in his essence, is untouchable. And yet, in this truth lies the paradox. For while a woman desires a man who does not chase, she also yearns for a man who makes her feel seen, not in the desperate way of a man who drowns her in affection, but in the way of a man who understands her in a way she has never been understood before. Because at her core, a woman is a mystery, even to herself. She moves through the world feeling one thing, saying another, driven by forces she cannot always explain. And when she meets a man who sees through it all, who recognizes her fears, her desires, her hidden longings without her having to speak them, she is disarmed. This is why most men fail. They try to impress, to prove their worth, to seek approval. But the man who truly understands attraction does none of these things. He does not seek to be liked. He does not beg for attention. He does not try to fit into her world. Instead, he sees her, and in doing so, he forces her to see herself in a way she never has before. This is the final mastery, to be the man who does not chase, yet is impossible to ignore. The man who does not beg, yet is deeply desired. The man who leads, yet never forces. It is this presence, this unshakable certainty, that sets him apart. Because while others fight for attention, he simply exists, so completely, so undeniably, that he becomes unforgettable. And so, we return to you. What path do you walk? Is your presence a force that cannot be ignored? Or do you simply exist in the periphery, waiting for permission to matter? The world does not remember the man who follows. It does not admire the man who bends to fit another's expectations. It remembers the man who stands alone, because he does not need to be followed, and yet he always is.